Denver 7 On Demand is brought to you by Ferguson and BAC Appliance Center, the best in bath, kitchen, and lighting for your home.
I'm Jessica Porter with the latest from Denver 7. There's a minimum wage and then there's a bare minimum of what you need to make to survive. So tonight, Denver 7's Russell Haythorne is going 360, showing us what it really takes to pay the bills in Colorado.
That might be good because it'll raise the canopy just a little bit more.
It may not be the easiest line of work, but at Native Earth Landscaping, as service level jobs go, this one pays the rent.
The two guys out there that are working right now are each paid $24 an hour.
At the moment, Colorado's minimum wage is $11.10 an hour. Lawmakers set that wage for the entire state, but new legislation being introduced this year would give local cities and counties the control to set their own minimum wage, however they see fit for their communities.
It's important because there's no one that knows their community better than local government.
Tonight, we're digging in on the living wage gap with multiple perspectives, starting with those low-wage workers.
Everything is high, house rent and food and others expenses.
Muhammad Ali works at DIA. He provides wheelchair assistance to travelers and gets paid $11.10 an hour.
Then this money not enough.
He pays $2,200 a month to rent this home in Green Valley Ranch for his family.
Before I work 2 jobs. Then when I 2 jobs, then I am very tired. Then I maybe 20 pounds less.
Shoheb Babu says he had to leave his traditional job making minimum wage and started driving for Uber, Amazon, and Domino's just to get by.
Yeah, you can say better. You can make $15 or might be sometimes $17, $18.
He says he's watched as several friends and co-workers have left the state because of the affordability crisis.
Lots of people there keep on moving different state because it's so much expenses. Even they are grow up here, but they have to leave because the house rent and everything is getting so much expenses.
But many small business owners say there must be a sensible balance because it's a complicated equation.
Frankly, that cost is passed on to the consumer, whether it's in a restaurant or a small retail shop.
Rob Horn owns Dog Savvy Boutique in Larimer Square.
I absolutely think people should get paid appropriately for their time, but as a small business owner, you need to take into consideration the cost of doing business, and hours on the clock are something that add up.
Still makes sense to top that big guy off a little bit.
On the other side, at Native Earth Landscaping, owner Sarah Marcolisi argues $11.10 an hour doesn't cut it for anyone.
Especially if they can't live where they work, they have to spend so much more in gas. It's ridiculous.
She's a member of Good Business Colorado, a group that supports the local wage option.
It levels the playing field.
She points to places like San Francisco and Seattle, where small businesses not only didn't collapse, they thrived by paying workers more.
And you give them things like sick days, you give them things like a 401k plan. They tend to be very loyal.
For restaurants, the problem isn't just wages. Stoney's Bar and Grill owner Stoney Joseph says in Colorado, no matter how much you pay, you still lose good help to the marijuana industry.
We have about 65 employees, which is a lot just for one restaurant. You kind of have to create a culture and a good vibe.
Here in Adams County, to be able to afford a 1-bedroom apartment, it takes $19 an hour.
A big gap that workers hope the state can prune back.
It's all good.
Russell Haythorne, Denver 7.
So what do you think? How much would you give up to raise the minimum wage in your community? Email us your thoughts at 360@thedenverchannel.com. The relationship between Denver Public Schools and the teachers union isn't strained, it's on life support. 24 hours ago, there was a glimmer of hope of ending this standoff. The district said it wanted to make a deal, and teachers turned out in droves to hear the pitch. Minutes later, they had heard enough, storming out and calling the offer a little more than an IOU. We asked Superintendent Susanna Cordova about it this morning.
We entered the room very ready to bargain, to really talk, to really exchange proposals. I think it became clear very quickly that that was not where the teachers union was. They, didn't ask any questions about our proposal, immediately left the room, came back in and told us that it wasn't good enough.
Well, she added there are no future negotiations in the works. As for a strike, the next step is still in Governor Polis's hands. If he decides to intervene, a walkout could be delayed for up to 6 months. If not, it could begin in a matter of days. Magic mushrooms will be on the Denver ballot. Petition signatures were certified today, leaving it to Denver voters to decide if they're ready to decriminalize psychedelics. This is not legalization, so you won't see any mushroom shops popping up in your neighborhood. People caught with the drugs could still face light criminal punishment, but mostly this would be treated as a very low priority for law enforcement. It's case closed for a series of alleged druggings near the CU Boulder campus, not because police caught the suspects or disproved this story, but because the blood tests were botched. Last fall, 6 young women told police they believed they had been drugged on the same night while partying on University Hill. 3 of those women had their blood drawn while hospitalized. The samples were then sent to a testing facility, but were placed in the wrong kind of tube and are soon worthless. Investigators also say their leads had dried up. Right now, investigators are working to determine what led a federal task force to shoot 2 people in Denver. U.S. Marshals and other agents were trying to serve a warrant on South Canosa Street when at least 1 agent fired into a car. The man they were looking for was hit, as was the woman driving. Their conditions have not been released. No officers were hurt. A couple of weeks ago, we told you about a woman fighting with Elbert County over a long row of trees near her property. She believed they could be saved. The county said they're a safety hazard. As Contact 7's Jackie Crea reports, the county won.
Nobody lives here because it's convenient.
Gail Segredo trusted these trees in Elizabeth would be trimmed, not cut down.
We live here because of the surroundings. And if you're going to start taking down trees and make this look like Highlands Ranch, what's the point?
Elbert County fell behind on its tree maintenance near the county roads. It's become a safety hazard for fire mitigation, drivers, and for drainage. So they played catch up, marking the ones that needed to go. But Gail says crews went too far.
But they have told me that they are not looking for marks on that side of the road. Their instructions are to take all the trees.
This should have been done years ago.
Elbert County Manager Sam Albrecht says it's complicated. Some trees were so badly overgrown they fused with power lines. They had to be removed.
And that's not safe for anybody. We've got to back those trees up off the right-of-way so that people can get up and down them every day of the year.
Albrecht says while some residents are upset to see the trees go, others are grateful to see the safety improvements.
Trees part of the Elbert County logo. We love our trees, but we love our people too, and we need to make sure that, that the roads are taken care of.
In Elbert County, Jackie Crea, Denver 7.
This has been your Denver 7 On Demand update. Thanks for joining us. Check back here later tonight for another update and download the Denver 7 app for breaking news and alerts. I'm Jessica Porter.